There's bits of soil there. That's why the trees can be there.
I got it.
No, in here is olive trees. There is bush. You know, from a short while it starts bush. This is autumn. Small little bits of soil. Because of the humidity, this is bush. Forest. Well, I don't put the height of it.
There's a snow here. It's gonna be a big
I've enough bicycles.
Oh, nice.
And they've come down months. Yeah, but I don't know the height.
Of the Transfiguration. So, this is identified here, where Jesus brought Peter, James, and John to a high mountain apart, mentioned in Matthew 17, and transfigured in front of them. And that was 6 days after they were in Caesarea Philippi. Jesus' face shone like the sun. His clothes became dazzling white, and appeared to them Moses and Elijah. Simon Peter didn't know what to say. He was afraid and said, "Let's build 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." A cloud overshadowed them, and a voice saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." Then the 3 disciples opened their eyes again, and they saw only Jesus. And On the way down, Jesus told them, tell no one until the Son of Man will rise from the dead. So the transfiguration. Who appeared to them? Moses and Elijah. So Moses representing the prophets. Moses representing the law. Elijah representing the prophets. So in front, who witnessed the transfiguration? In front of the law and the prophets. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. So who witnessed that? The law and the prophets witnessed the transfiguration. So since early Christians, the name of the mountain is not mentioned during the transfiguration. It's mentioned a mountain apart. So this is a mountain apart of all range of mountains. And since early Christians, this is identified the place where it's identified on this rock, the place of the transfiguration where Jesus was standing. So early Christians, generation to generation, till the time the Byzantines, in the 4th century, built a church here, destroyed in the year 614 by the Persians. The Crusaders rebuilt a church and built a Crusader fortress. So all of the ruins are outside the Crusader fortress and part of the Crusader church. But that was destroyed in the 12th century by the Mamluks. Last century, 1924, the Franciscan Fathers with the famous Italian architect, you should know his name now, Antonio Barluzzi, built this big church. It has a rejoiceful, light and rejoiceful atmosphere, the Transfiguration. In the same year, the same people, the Franciscan Fathers, the same architect, built another church, 1924, in the Garden of Gethsemane. But that's completely different atmosphere. This is light and rejoiceful atmosphere, and the Garden of Gethsemane, dark and sad atmosphere. What happened at the Gethsemane in Jerusalem? The agony of Jesus. What happened here is rejoiceful, is the transfiguration. What happened there is sad, the agony of Jesus. So the same people, the Franciscan Fathers, and the same architect, in the same year, built two big churches, completely different atmospheres. Of course, very nice mosaics here. The transformation of Jesus, the Lord, into a man or into the baby. The Eucharist, from Jesus into the Eucharist. The Lamb of God and the resurrection. And the peacocks for prosperity. But what we see up there when we back up, and there are two small chapels. What did Simon Peter say? Let us build 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. So this is according to what Simon Peter said. 2 small chapels. One is the chapel of Moses, the other one is the chapel of Elijah, and this is Jesus. So when we back up, we'll see. Do you want to do the readings, Father?
We can just, well, you said it very well, but I guess if we hear the thing, it's just, okay. But Johnny said it perfectly, almost word by word. So we read from Matthew 17, verses 1 to 8. After 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, his brother, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. And behold, Moses and Elijah appeared to them, conversing with him. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, Lord, it is good that we are here. If you wish, I will make 3 tents here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While he was still speaking, behold, a bright cloud cast a shadow over them. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him." When the disciples heard this, they fell prostrate and were very much afraid. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, "Rise and do not be afraid." And when the disciples raised their eyes, they saw no one else but Jesus alone.
Alright, the main question from Jesus is Shine, his close life, Moses, Elijah, Peter, James, and John. Mount Sinai, hosts the tablets of the Ten Commandments, and where Moses got it on Mount Sinai. The other chapel is the chapel of Elijah, but when they finish explaining, there we go. We'll see Elijah, and it is on Mount Carmel. The context, I'm going to explain it here. Then you go and see it. You see Elijah and you see the 2 sacrifices. So the contest between Elijah and the prophets of Baal took place not on this mountain, on Mount Carmel. We're going next to Mount Carmel, where it's mentioned in 1 Kings 18, where Elijah was hiding from Jezebel, the Queen Jezebel. Alright, I'm going to repeat 3 words. We're here in the chapel of Moses, according to what Simon Peter said. Let's build 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. And we see Moses with the tablet of the 10 Commandments. That's on Mount Sinai. The other chapel is the chapel of Elijah, and the painting there showing Elijah and the 2 sacrifices, which is mentioned in 1 Kings 18. When Elijah told the king Ahab, until when there was still men with 2 opinions, whether the God of Baal is the true God, or the Lord, our God, the true one. So let's build 2 altars, bring 2 sacrifices, and let the prophets of Baal. Alright, the chapel of Elijah, and here we see Elijah and the 2 sacrifices, which is mentioned in 1 Kings 18. Let's build 2 altars, bring 2 sacrifices, and let the prophets of Baal pray, 450 of them. And I am the only prophet of the Lord. So we'll see the true God will answer our prayer and will give us $5 sacrifice. So they agreed, they bring 2 altars, 2 sacrifices, and the prophets of Baal started to pray, nothing happened. Noontime, Elijah came, told them, pray louder, maybe your God is asleep or went for a journey. So they started to pray louder, nothing happened. Noontime, the time came for Elijah to pray. He told the people to pour water on his altar, and they did. Started to pray, and all of a sudden, fire burned the altar and the sacrifice. Now, who asked about the 2 hands?
What does that mean?
Who?
I did.
Okay. That's the answer for her. 2 hands, and you can see one hand is without
Over the other.
sleeves, the other hand with dark brown sleeves. right? So this is the Franciscan Fathers logo, and these are, one hand is Jesus' hand, the other hand Saint Francis.
Oh, I see.
So this is the sign for the Franciscan Fathers. So this is under Deborah, where the prophetess Deborah came from. The battle between Deborah, Sisera, and Barak took place there. The mountain is Mount Moreh, the Midianites and Gideon, the battle between Gideon and the Midianites. The village there is Nain, where where Jesus raised the only son of the widow lady. You can see the pool of water, the spring of water down there. Can you see my hand down there? That's Endor. Endor. It's where the King Saul went to the witch in Endor to provoke the spirits of Samuel before leading the battle. Yes. Where did the battle took place? Saul and the Philistines on Mount Gilboa. Not this mountain in the far horizon. You may see it in the haze. That's Mount Gilboa, and this is the place where Saul died. He fell on his own sword in a battle with the Philistines. Again, the Gilboa Mountain, Endor, Mount Moreh, Nain, Mount Carmel. In a clearer day, you'll see Mount Carmel.
Peter and Elijah.
No, Peter, he was a privileged man, you know. The Lord called him up with John.
Peter and Elijah.
We've got no John, so we've got only Peter of the first witnesses. I climbed it on foot twice. Going down, I only went once. Yeah, through the road. Yeah. But I came up on foot twice. I went down once. But going down, it's harder than coming up. Your knees, your legs, oh, I tell you.
How long did it take you to climb up?
I know, I guess, 15, half an hour, 35, 40 minutes.
Oh, that quick?
Yeah. Because we cut across, you see.
Oh, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Half an hour, 35 minutes.
Then 5 minutes to go down.
Yeah. And if you don't hold your legs, you roll down. Yeah, that one there I asked Johnny when we were riding in the bus. That is the back of Cana.
Cana.
We were on the northern side of Cana, Galilee, okay? That is the back of the city. It's got another name, but it is the back of Cana.
Oh, wow.
As it goes over the mountain. Huh? Oh, yeah, it's 40.
This is one place you better make sure the brakes are working.
It's pretty easy. So I'll see what it's. I'll see what it's.
So Vespasian went from Jerusalem to Rome while the revolution was going on. And it happened that Vespasian became emperor. And he knows that the Jews in Jerusalem are revolting against him. So Vespasian sent his son Titus. Yeah, Titus came to Jerusalem, destroyed the whole city of Jerusalem. So Titus, celebrating his victory in Jerusalem, went to a city called Sychar, Shechem, and built a new city there. Built the Neapolis, the new city. That's the Greek name. Of course, the official language was Greek. So he built the new city, the Neapolis. And in Arabic there is no letter P. Neapolis became Neapolis, then Nablus. But the biblical name is Shechem, Sychar, where Jacob's well is. Right now we are in the Jezreel Valley, or the Valley of Armageddon. See, it's a huge valley. You don't see even the beginning or the end of it. So, and it is identified where the last battle would take place between the good and the evil, and Armageddon, the Battle of Armageddon.
Johnny, what's the plans?
Yes, Megiddo. Now I'll point out in a few minutes the place, the ancient city of Megiddo, Megiddo, Tel Megiddo, Armageddon. Okay, yeah. In Hebrew and in Arabic, and both languages are Semitic, so there are similarities in the Hebrew and the Arabic languages. Tel means a hill, a small mountain. So ancient cities were built on hills, yeah, for protection. And ancient cities were destroyed, rebuilt, destroyed and rebuilt. So it became also higher hills. So the name Tel became an archaeological name. That is a city, or Tel Megiddo, which is a city built on a tel, on a mountain. So all ancient cities were built on mountains or hills. So Megiddo, can you see the name Megiddo? Now we'll see Tel Megiddo. So the name Tel became archaeological name for ancient cities. Well, actually the name is a hill Megiddo, or on a hill.
On a hill.
A city that was built on top of another city. So you may see the lower part, that's the Canaanites. It goes back to the 5th millennium BC. This is Megiddo, or Armageddon. So this is, from here it starts all the way up. During the time of the Israelites, King Solomon built a city here called that was called the city of the chariots, due to the big number of chariots. And you can see the excavated part in a second here to your left side. Can you see the opening? And they found here 20 stratas here. And time of King Ahab. Of course, the city is built on a mountain, and there is a spring. You'll never find a spring that starts from the top of the mountain. So the spring is halfway up, or halfway down. So, of course, on top they built walls. Can you see the walls and the palm trees? You can see the Canaanites gate there, under the palm trees. So, time of King Ahab, they decided to dig a shaft and a tunnel to divert the direction of the water. So they built a tunnel and they covered the spring of water. So the spring used to go through the city, then out of the city. So they don't have to go out of the city, or they didn't have to get the water. So you see the walls You see the gate, and this is an ancient city that goes back to 5000 BC and has about
7,000 years ago.
yeah 20 stratas, 20 layers.